Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Master Your Mental podcast. As you guys can see, we are diving right on into what it means to have power over your thoughts. Joining me in this conversation is my beautiful guest, Debbie Freeman. Debbie is a former Radio City Rockette dance captain, health and life coach, guiding her clients toward the courage to live the life of their dreams. She also hosts the You Unique Sparkle podcast and is also a former USA Miss Nevada 2021. So I am super excited to have Debbie here with us today to share not only her story, but also her experiences and work in this area. So without further ado, welcome Debbie to the podcast.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yes.
Your personality is you just have a sparkle of your own. I was listening to some of your podcasts and I was just like, oh my God, she is just so adorable. I definitely cannot wait to be on here and just to have a discussion with you and just chit chat it up because, well, I talk a lot, so that'll be good.
I love it. I love it. And I'm so happy to have you here because and you guys check out her podcast as well, Your Unique Sparkle. And you'll definitely hear that Debbie has that for sure after this conversation we're going to get into, because we are talking about this. And this is why I wanted to bring this topic up, because power over your thoughts. What does that mean? What does that look like? And why did I bring Debbie here for you guys to get into this? So before we all just get on into that, Debbie, I would love if you could share with us, what is it that lights you up like nothing else in this life?
Oh my goodness. First of all, my kids.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that right there alone is joy to me. The things I have gone through, we all have our paths that we take, right? We have all been through turmoil. We've all been through our own little hardships, whatever, right? And the topic today is, of course, overcoming those and how do we, have a frame of mind that keeps us in a positive mode. And, to be honest, Paris, people say, I want to be happy, but you can't be happy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we want to be happy. Okay. But I mean, when you think about it, a lot of people will say, and I've done this, I can't tell you how long I used to live like, oh my gosh, if we could just get this job and make this amount of money or have this house, if we could just get to that point, I know the world would be better and I'd be so much happier. And, you're thinking like that. And then it comes, and are you really happy?
Yeah, no, that is such a good topic you brought up right there, because it's so true, right? When we think about this idea of happiness and what this looks like, right? Like it's often like
Yes.
you tell yourself, right? Like you're happy right now and you're grateful and appreciative, but then what if I get here? Or what about this? And then what if this thing? And then when you do that thing and you get that thing and you go to that place, now it's a next thing. So how do you, like, I'd love to hear from you, like, how do you, when you have that pattern constantly going, like what works for you in shutting that down to really be grateful and happy in the moment that you're in right now?
Well, and Paris, that's a great question because I do this every single day. And, we are always evolving. We are always, every day we have to work on ourselves. You can't really just say, I'm going to get to one point and I'm going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
We are, we have 60,000 thoughts that go through our mind a day. How many of those thoughts do you think are negative and positive? Right?
Yeah.
And we talk to ourselves more than anybody else. And, you're listening to your brain and it's rationalizing and it's doing all this stuff. And you could have something that's bothering you and you could sit there, and it's funny how sometimes we become the fortune teller.
Mm-hmm.
I bet she was thinking this. I bet this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you start doing these scenarios in your head of what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't no fortune teller. You don't know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we do that and then we get all worked up. We got all this stress and all this anxiety that, that's what causes illness, is carrying that around. So what we need to do is learn how to live in the moment and to be grateful, just like you said, Paris, for the things that we have, and to be able to enjoy what we have right now, be able to breathe so that we don't get all those ailments and stuff, because that will work you down. It will stress your body out into sickness. That's how you start getting disease and all these chronic illnesses. Your immunity goes because your body can't handle all that stress.
Oh
So,
no, that's such a good point that you made, because you really bridge the gap between physical health and mental health, and how this affects one and how the other affects it. And I love that you say that, because I was actually like, you guys, so with the podcast, she went ahead and just filled out and this form and gave me all this information. I saw something that stuck out to me, is that you actually talk about losing 100 pounds, gain, and like this whole thing, and what that was like for you on that journey mentally. Like, I'd love to like just hear from you. Like, what was that experience like for you?
well, I'll tell you, I've always dealt with emotional eating. So emotional eating is, it's when we take something and we're trying to numb. It's our numbness, whether it be drugs, whether it be alcohol, whether it be food. And for me, it was food. It was emotional eating because I was depressed. I'd gone through a very, bad marriage. I was depressed, and I would eat and eat and eat to numb the pain of not feeling the emotional, sadness that I was going through. So, to make a long story short, through this divorce and finally finding out all the things that I had thought, the cheating, the drinking, all the things that he had been doing,
Yeah.
found out that it was all true. And he had left one night and never came back. The next morning he was basically not a hit and run, but he totally destroyed his vehicle and we had a DUI, was thrown in jail.
Oh, wow.
It was really bad. But I woke up and my whole savings account was gone. And he had taken that, and I just sat there and was like, wow, it's so many times we live in limbo. It's like, I didn't know where we really were. It's like I was living this lie. And it's funny because you're like stuck there and you're like, gosh, if I could just move forward and do something, but you can't, you're like stuck. It's like your feet are stuck in the ground and you want to move and you can't. And so I would eat to numb the pain. I'm eating. That's my thoughts, is I'm just going to eat. And because I can't go forward, I don't know what really is going on. So finally, after I find out all the things that are really happening in my life, that, all these lies and stuff, I now am at a little bit of peace, because it's like, okay, Debbie, now you can make choices. You can move on. You can be strong. You have to be strong for yourself and for your kids.
Yeah.
And that is my message to women, is to be strong and listen to your intuition, because actually we do know what's going on. We know.
That's such a good point, that you really explain that very well, like the reasoning behind that, because when sometimes, with people who don't really understand too much about emotional eating, it's almost like the solution is like, okay, well, like just stop eating so much, like just duh, like, but you really go into that, of how you speak about that with the numbing part of it. And then because of the depression and the different things that you were going through in the marriage, this was almost like a Band-Aid, right? To cover it. This is helping right now in the moment, because you shared, when you do feel really stuck and like you can't move forward, you don't know what to do, the easiest step is to remedy the situation now with this thing and then that's amazing just to hear that transformation from you, of when you had that moment where you were like, you can make the choices and move on. And that's so, like, I'd love to ask you, like, how did that happen? Because it almost seems like for such a certain amount of time, you were in this frame of mind? Like, was there a moment, was there something that like, what was that trigger point where you were like, no, like I can change, I can make these choices, I can move forward? Like, what was that? How did you transition into that?
Well, I guess, I just felt, I felt relief. Like I
Mm-hmm.
finally knew the truth of what was going on. And I feel like being a mom, I have to be the image.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be strong for the kids, you know? Uh,
Yeah.
so a part of me was like, okay, well, okay. I actually went to him he was in counseling
Mm-hmm.
to see if there was anything we could salvage, anything, if I could go to, counseling or anything to,
Mm-hmm.
help out. Um, because I wanted to do my part and because I had made a promise with the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And that day I asked him, I said, "Do you love me?" And he says, "I love our kids."
Mm-hmm.
"How many times have you lied and cheated on me?" "Well, Debbie, it's been so many times, it doesn't even matter."
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
At that moment, there was no respect for me. I
Mm-hmm.
realized that. And he just released me.
Wow.
I just was like,
Mhm.
wow. I felt like God had taken this weight that was on my back, lifted it up and said, "Debbie, go
Mhm.
find you again. Go be you." And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And I remember walking to my car and opening the car and smiling. It was the best feeling in the world to be free and to not have to worry anymore. I could make the future whatever
Yeah.
I wanted. I
I
didn't
love
have to
it.
ask anybody else permission. It was all me in charge with my kids of what was going to happen and how, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Debbie, you're
Yeah.
going to take control of this. You've got this, girl. I could be one of those.
I love it. Oh my
That's
gosh.
that's what I did. So I started working out. I'd get up every morning for myself because, you know, we can start exercising and we can start, but a lot of times we'll get to a point where we're just like, we'll take a day off and then one day becomes 2 days, days become 3 days. I know I've been there many times,
Yeah. I know.
and but it's funny when you have a why of why you're doing it. And my why, I'll tell you right then and there was, of course, I was like, because I was 100 pounds heavier, I was like, no, he's gonna, wish, you know, he hadn't been like that.
Mhm.
I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna look good.
Yeah.
I had a nice why. I gotta tell
That's
you, I was very determined. So I did. And in that moment, I found myself of just feeling better again, losing the 100 pounds. You know, every morning when I get up, do I feel like working out? No, no, you don't. It's your thoughts. And if you want to, it's your thoughts that create your feelings. And if your thoughts are, I want to go back to bed for 10 more minutes, well, and then you kind of got this feeling of, yeah, I'm tired, right? And that's going to cause an inaction and you're not going to do anything. So what you got to do is you have to change your thoughts and go, I am so lucky. My alarm went off. I get to get up. I get to move right now. And yeah, and you get up for yourself because nobody else is going to get up for you.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. And I love how you broke that down, because see, like that's exactly what it is your pain and your struggle you turned your mess into a message to inspire and encourage others. So now you're able to be that light to show others. And that's really a big deal of what you did, losing. It doesn't, like, you guys, just hearing that, gaining 100 pounds and then losing 100 pounds and like getting back up and being consistent. Because like Debbie said, probably many of us can relate to this, of when, you set a goal, like, okay, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., go work out. And then you're tired and it's hard. And you're like, I can't do it. I'm too tired. And then I don't know about you guys, but for me, whenever I have those moments and I look back, I always regret, like, oh, like I could have done it, but you didn't. But the good thing, like what Debbie said, is there's always something to be appreciative of in that moment. That the fact that you get to wake up and do this, right? And do it for you. Like she said, having that strong why of, struggling in this relationship and doing it, and then taking that power back and saying, you know what, I have control and I'm doing it for you. And also, your kids as well, of being that, figure they can look to and say, like, look what my mom did. Like, look at this. This is amazing. And that is so cool because, like you mentioned, no one else is going to do it for you. And I love that, because when we talk about our thoughts, like you really outlined, that was so good, of having this thought that creates the inaction. So I'm tired. And then instead of, reframing it. So I'd love to ask you, like, what do you have a routine in place, or what is the most helpful thing for you in reframing and having power over those negative thoughts that come in?
Well, a lot of those times, because I have negative thoughts all the time,
Mm-hmm.
is I have to reframe them to myself in a positive manner
Mm-hmm.
so that I can feel better about them. And I always ask myself, like, what's the facts? Facts. Okay, if that's what you got, that's what you know. You don't know anything more, don't make up anything.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, taking a breath and just going, I'm going to let everything else go because you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know, you're just going to just cause yourself craziness in the head.
Yeah.
Really can. We all know that because we've all been there. We do it all the time. And I really have to just focus my mind. Okay, let's think about a different thing. Let's reframe this thought into a positive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like one thought. Okay, I love this thought. Okay. So I've had a boyfriend that would not call me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I could sit there and think about all the horrible things that maybe he's doing, because I've been through a lot. So, I mean, I can think of some horrible things, right?
Yeah.
You can come up with all kinds of scenarios. Maybe he's doing this. Maybe this is why he hasn't called me, or blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, what I've done is I've gone, you know what? I choose to love him. Okay. And I feel really good about that. I do. I love this person and I feel good about it. And if he doesn't call me and he is seeing somebody else, well, he's just opened up my world to find my better person.
Yeah, exactly.
So, with that thought in mind, because that is what the energy, I'm going to put good energy out, I'm going to get it back. And if he's not the one, why would I want to pressure that into anything? But I could have, instead of hate of why he's not calling me or why isn't this, because you can.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just give him love and go, you know what? You're going through whatever you're going through. When you're ready to talk, I'm here. I love on you. I send you love. I love you so much. If we don't end up together, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And having that frame of mind makes me feel so healthy and I feel good.
I think that's amazing, that example that you just gave of how to reframe that. Cause like you said, it can be so easy, especially in your situation, right? Of going through what you did and then having this happen, like, like your mind instantly goes to back, because that's the thing, is what you've gone through and what you've dealt with would make you think that and question that. But instead, that's incredible that because a lot of people, I feel like it's probably very challenging to, like, first of all, have awareness of these thoughts, because sometimes you get one and then just like a snowball effect of like this, and then it's like you kind of make up this story and you don't even know, if that's something that's true or not. But the good thing about that is, like you said, if this is actually the case, and if this is really the scenario and what's happening, then that is a good thing for you, because you don't have to do what you did in the past of, trying so much to hold on to it and to question it and to dig deeper into it. You can just have that freedom, a relief of knowing that, if this is the case, then, just wish everyone well and kind of, continue on with yourself, because that really saves you. Like, you save your, as you know, your sanity, because you really can, like you said, drive yourself really, crazy with thoughts, and then just really just have such a big impact on your mood, your feelings, how you treat others. Because sometimes, right, when we get like this, and we get, where we feel like we're being abandoned or left, or these things are happening, it can make us, be unkind to not just ourselves, but those we care about and love, because we're so laser focused on that. So that's amazing that you just share that example. That is so helpful for us to try to practice, when we do have these things coming in, because like Debbie said, we all have this, right? We all have, it's like, it's not like we can just program our minds, like be on happy thoughts all day long. We can't, right? So when we have that come up, do that, what Debbie said, right? So like sit with the thought, you know, dig deeper into it.
Mhm.
And instead of just letting it, send you down that path of negativity and all these things. So that's incredible advice. I love that tip that you just gave right there. And something else I'd love to ask you is, with what the work you do for your clients, like what has that done for you? Like, what is the impact that has had on your life of being able to help others who have maybe struggled similarly to how you used to?
I can't tell you how much joy that brings to me.
Mhm.
That is, it's, I put a lot of time into this and into my coaching, into my clients. This is what I love. I don't know if it's just the second part of my life, but I feel like I'm giving back.
Mhm.
And I know what it's like to hurt.
Mhm.
I know what it's like to not have good thoughts. And if I could help anybody and inspire somebody, motivate them to be their best selves. And ladies, love yourself.
Mhm.
Love yourself. And just like I said with that example, it's like, I deserve good.
Mhm.
You deserve good. We are all beautiful and we are all special, you know? And
Yeah.
a lot of us don't believe that. And maybe that came from a childhood thing. And Paris, it's really funny because like I had a friend to ask me the other day, and he says to me, "Don't you know you're beautiful?" And I actually looked at him and I almost cried
Yeah.
because of things I went through when I was younger,
Mhm.
kids teasing me and making fun of me, and the
Mhm.
things I've been through,
Yeah.
and a husband that only came to bed once a year.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
this is like, gosh, sometimes I don't know I'm pretty.
No, and it's true. And I love that you share that too, because that's the thing, is we might be looking at someone and think that person is beautiful. But like, that's the thing, is like and like you said, that example that you shared of your friend saying that to you and almost, being in tears. I relate to that as well. Having the same thing, a complete stranger, give you a note and just say, in case no one has said this, this is, and, it makes such an impact. And that's the thing, is especially what you talk about of, having things that happened to you in the past that have been very hurtful, like even, in your childhood, right? Of like being in school, or, where you grew up, and having, people say different things to you that really does stay with you and stick with you and can have that impact. So I love that you share that, because that is so true. And that just brings me to, this is the question that I love to ask everybody, because you always get a different answer. Everyone always brings so much value for this. So of course I have to ask you this. So Debbie, what are you currently doing right now in this moment in your life to master your mental?
I am doing so much. Helping my clients also helps me,
Mhm.
because you're wanting to give them the best advice and you're wanting to listen to them. And sometimes, they can open up new things to my mind as
Mhm.
well and share with thoughts. Um, like I said, just reversing, just
Yeah.
changing my thoughts how I think. That is big for me. I work on that every single day. I work on my body,
Mhm.
so mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I love that you brought that up of with your clients, right? Of how, because how not only you can service them and bring value to them, but how they bring that to you and can open your eyes up to new solutions and ways of doing things and thinking. And that's amazing that you bring that up also of constantly working on changing your thoughts and pouring into yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually, because it's not like you just do the work one time and you're set. You're continuously doing that to not only create that reality for yourself, but for your kids, your family, your clients, and to help create that impact. So I love that. That's absolutely incredible. And I just want to again give you just thank you so much for coming out here on Master Your Mental and just sharing this your story, your experiences, your tips. They've been so valuable. And as you guys know, I'm always taking a lot of notes and I've been sitting here taking so many because this is the thing. This is what it's about is featuring these solutions through our painful experiences that Debbie, exactly what she's done, like take her story and completely rewrote that and restructured that to really add value and change lives instead of continuing it to let it hurt her life is amazing. So I really encourage you guys to go check out her podcast. I will be sure to link that all in the notes for everybody. But I also want to thank you guys for being here and tuning in and listening to the story. It means the world to me that you guys are here and also Debbie. So I want to say goodbye to you guys, whether it is the daytime or the nighttime. I hope that you have a good rest of your day and night. And I also want to say goodbye to Debbie. So bye to you guys and bye to Debbie. So thank you, Debbie. You did amazing. We love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.